My dear brothers and sisters, now many of you all may have seen me, like when I come for communion distribution, or sometimes when you see me in the church here. So many people, when they see me, they ask me this question. I mean, those who know me at least, they would ask me, they know that I studied my engineering, I had a job, and I was doing pretty well. So then they ask me, why brother, did you leave all that and come to join the priesthood? You're an engineer, you're having a good job. Why did you come to become a priest? You are free outside, but now here I am taking a vow of obedience. You don't have all those enjoyments which you had outside. You are restricted. So why have you come to do this? And they might not say this loudly, but in their mind they might be thinking, this person is mad. Why he left all this? So that's the reason they ask this, because they can't find any value in Jesus. I mean, they may go to church and they may believe at least namesake, but they don't find any true value in the faith or in Jesus. And they don't truly believe, to be honest. Because those who truly believe will know that Christ is the greatest treasure that you can have. Jesus is the greatest treasure that we can have. Nothing in this world will compare to that. If you know that God exists, and if you know that God is real, then you cannot help but love Him and come to Him and be with Him. Because He is far greater than anything else that we can have with us in the world outside. All those enjoyments, none of this will satisfy us. Now, but that is now the question will come then, why do you believe? Well, my story is somewhat similar to the reading that I took today, the cleansing of the leper. Now, we may have heard many stories in the Bible, such and such was healed, such and such was blessed, Jesus did this miracle, that miracle. But sometimes we may feel that this is all just in the Bible, not real. It doesn't happen outside. It's there in the Bible. And it's nice to read about stories. But my life has been exactly like this reading. And my life proves that God works miracles. That God is real. God is all powerful. And that God is Jesus Christ. Now to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a Keralite, but I was raised in Bangalore. I did all my studying and schooling, everything there in Bangalore. And we had quite a good life. No poverty and all. So, quite well to do. So, I went to a good school. And even my friends were in that kind of class, in the sense. We all were well to do. We didn't have any questions of struggles in life and things like that. So we truly enjoyed it, tried to enjoy maximum. That was the purpose of our life also. Just to enjoy, become rich, become famous, maximum pleasures, have many women with you. These are the kind of thoughts that we had, enjoying life. So, sure, in the younger days, my mother took me to church, I went. But as I grew older, that faith aspect kind of died out. Because I didn't find it useful in my life and I didn't find it important. It didn't give me anything, I felt. For me, what was important was enjoyment. Make maximum out of life. Make maximum money, enjoy. That's the whole point. So I went with life like that. And so God was out of the picture. So when I went to church in the childhood, all that faith slowly went away. And then after that, God did not matter. It got to a point where I used to go to church only on Easter and Christmas, because we have to go on those days. And when I went also, I would come in with my family and to church. And as soon as the mass begins, because the crowd, so much crowd is there, right? They can't see me after that. So I used to immediately walk out. Once the mass starts, I used to walk out. So that is me. Okay, I used to go out, so roam around, calculate time. Easter Mass will take a long time, preaching and all. So I used to come back. So that was my faith actually. I was absolutely not care, not believe also at that point. It was like out of a question. Like this life went. And then when I was in 7th standard, slowly I started getting this sickness. And I actually had this sickness at birth. But after a few months, or I think about a year, it went away, that sickness. But when I was in 7th standard again, it slowly started coming back about the end of 6th, 7th. It was a skin disease. So I would get rashes on my body. And slowly those rashes would become wounds. And then it became worse and worse. So 7th, 6th and all, it was okay. So we went to different doctors. Different treatments. But what happened was the disease slowly progressed. We went to a doctor, the doctor would give us some medicine, we would try that medicine for some time. Sometimes the medicine would seem to work, it would seem to help me. But after some time, the disease became worse and it would overpower the sickness and it got worse and worse. And then it got really, really worse. And by the time I was going to school in 10th and all, people did not know this, but inside the uniform that I was wearing, I had wounds all over my body. So I would come back home and when I would remove my clothes, it would literally tear off the skin. Because that was how it was. It would bleed during the day and things like that. When I went back home, it would tear off. So this was like daily for me. So slowly I was getting tired of life also. So you can imagine that when you have a sickness like this, you have a lot of problems other than the sickness also. Sickness itself has pain and suffering, all this is there. Then you have a difficulty of going out in front of people. You have always this tension of whether they will see me, see my wounds and things like that. So I found it difficult to go outside among people. Even though I was a popular boy in school and all that, this made it worse, because I can't go out in front of my friends. I can't hang out with them like I used to. And then I finished my 10th with great little difficulty because of the sickness and all that. I could not sleep at night, I could not study, it was constant pain. By the time I reached my 12th, it got really bad to the level that I was bedridden. So I could not even get up from my bed. My mother and dad had to carry me even to the bathroom. My body, except my face and maybe the palm area of my hands, it was covered in wounds, and people who saw me would have thought I had leprosy. And in fact, many people in college thought I had skin cancer. Anyway, that was how it was. And all day long it would be pain. Night I would get that itching sensation, and I would have to scratch in the night, and I could not sleep. By morning, fresh wounds. So my parents used to carry me, put me in the bathtub, and fill it with salt water and keep. And they used to leave me there for about 3 hours. And then again, once that wound had all peeled, the skin had all become soft, then they would scrape it off. And again, fresh wounds. This was every single day, by the way. Every day this was a repeat. Morning I'd wake up with fresh wounds, suffer terrible pain. Then in the night, again scratch, again repeat. Parents also struggled a lot. They tried to take me to different doctors, homeo, Ayurvedic, English, allopathic treatment, different types of treatment. And mother had to prepare very special food for me. I could not eat everything. I could eat very specific things. Even among vegetables, I could eat only very specific things because I was taking medication. So for almost 7 to 8 years, it went like that. She had to prepare very special food for me. So at home also, it's not a good place because all are sadness seeing my state. All are wondering whether I would be able to continue with my studies or anything like that. Parents are also very, depressed. But above all, I was the most depressed. And I was seeing that my sickness is only getting worse and worse. It is not getting better. And I thought, every day, why I have to wake up with this pain? Every day, why I have to suffer like this? My parents also have to suffer. They also have to go through so much pain just to take care of me. So what is the point of continuing with life? I thought life was meant to be enjoyment, but life is not enjoyment. It's pure suffering, I felt. So I also decided in my heart that I will kill myself. And I was thinking of different ways to do this. And I also found out an easy way, a painless way to die. And I was really on the verge of doing it also, really on the edge. But during that time, sometimes, I don't know, divine inspiration maybe. Mother used to take the Bible and sometimes read few verses from here and there. From book of Isaiah, book of Jeremiah, from the Gospel of Matthew. It gave me some hope. Verses like, I carved you on the palm of my hand. I have a plan for you, plan for your welfare. Not even a hair of yours falls to the ground without the Lord knowing. She used to read these verses and they were comforting, but still I did not really have any true faith as such. I didn't really believe. So at the end of the 12th, we did a very severe Ayurvedic treatment, and which for 2 weeks I could not drink water at all. I should not touch water, not bathe, not drink, nothing. And very specific food, just boiled rice and boiled vegetable. That's the only thing I could take for 2 weeks. And I started shrinking and my body, everything. It almost became like I started to look almost like a skeleton. But that medicine worked, and within 2-3 days, this treatment was done for 2 weeks, but within 2-3 days, all the wounds healed in my body. It just became alright. So with that, we thought the sickness is gone. And within 2 weeks, even though I went through great difficulty through this treatment, I was normal actually after that treatment. I was normal. I had no wounds on my body, nothing. I was okay. So parents were very happy. Everybody was happy. Even I thought it's all over. Finally, I've come through. So I joined for engineering. Earlier, we had planned that we would not study this year because of my sickness. But suddenly, since I got healed, my parents were like, okay, good, you can join somewhere. And then I joined for engineering. But once I joined engineering, for about 6 months it was okay. After about 6 months, slowly those small rashes started coming once more on my body. And then at first, I was hopeful, maybe it might not become worse. I was thinking maybe it might just go away like that itself. But what happened was, slowly it started coming back. And again it started getting worse. Again we had to start treatment. And again we started finding different doctors. Once again, allopathic, homeo, ayurvedic. So different doctors. We started going to different states. Like, my parents took me to different states, doctors in different states to look after me. But still, it was not getting better. I was going to college, but it was really bad condition. And this time, my hands also started getting wounds. Before it had not come on my palms. It had come till here, till the wrist, but not on my... And it never came on my face. So I had to go to college because of that. Otherwise, I would have found it very difficult to go to college. But it started coming on the hands. And then I used to always keep my hands in the pocket and walk. So even if somebody gave their hand to say hi, I would never take my hand out of the pocket. So people might have thought I'm a very rude person or had a lot of attitude or something like that. But the reality was this, I didn't want to take my hand out because if they saw my hand, they would be very uncomfortable. So we went to college. Though I was going to college, throughout morning till evening, in the class, I was really suffering. I could not sit in class. It was full of pain. Somehow I was managing. And again, since the disease was getting worse and worse, I started losing hope. Once again, thoughts of suicide started coming in. And I was thinking, there's no point. Nobody can cure me, nobody can heal me. Even the severe treatment that we didn't remove my sickness. And I was really getting hopeless. And one day in college, while I was going for lunch, I took out my hand by mistake, and then one of my seniors saw it. And then he was a Mangalorean or a Goan, I'm not sure. His last name was Mathaious. I don't know which place. But anyway, he saw my hand, and then he asked me what happened. And then I had to explain the whole thing. I told him about the sickness and all that. And then he said, why don't you try going for a retreat? So then, in my house, first of all, I told you, we are not very faithful Catholics or anything, not that much of faith and all. Parents go to church once in a while. I told you, I used to go and leave the church. And especially, we saw the charismatic movement and all that time. People were screaming hallelujah and all. And we were absolutely not okay with any of that. We were like, oh, really mad people, all those people, screaming hallelujah and all that. When they said retreat, immediately I thought I'm not going for a retreat. But since this guy asked, and he was a normal guy, very normal guy, good friend. Since this guy said, I took it a little seriously. Because he didn't seem like a crazy person all the time saying Jesus, Jesus, Jesus like that. He was just a normal person. He seemed like a reasonable man. So because of that, when he said, why don't you try going for a retreat? I took it seriously. And he said, so I was also sick. And my sickness was not going. And my mother and I, we went to a retreat. And then there I got healing. And after that, I have not had that sickness. I'm able to continue with my life. That is what he told me. So when I heard this, I thought, okay, we'll try this retreat thing. Because anyway, I was on the verge of killing myself. Suicide was the only option before me. So I thought, okay, why not try this? Why not try this retreat? So I went home and I told my mother, we'll go for a retreat. And other people had also been telling my mother, why don't you try taking for a retreat and all that. Finally, mom also finally, she said, okay, let's go. So we went for a retreat in Kerala. The retreat was 5 days. So we reached there, and for some time we heard the preaching and all that, prayer, all that was going on. Then during lunchtime, we went to the refectory to eat. There they were serving chicken curry and rice. I had not taken chicken and any non-veg itself for almost 7 to 8 years, because if I eat, immediately I have a reaction. Immediately have a problem that night, it becomes really bad. I cannot bear the itching and all that. So I did not take the food that day. I went to my mother and asked, see, they are serving chicken curry and rice. So she said, okay, we'll see, we'll wait and see. We'll ask them if they have any other food there. So we went to them and we asked, do you have any other food? They said, no. Everybody eats the same food. Even the retreat preacher, even the people coming, all eat the same food. Then we thought, okay, fine, we'll wait till evening. Maybe something else might be there to eat. And so evening time came, again, I was taking part in the retreat and all. Evening time came, we went to have dinner. Again, they were serving rice and fish curry. And this fish was particularly known to create problems even among normal people. Bangada. Okay. Bangada has a problem, even among normal people, some people say it creates problem for skin and all that. But that is what they were serving that day. Fish curry and rice. And I really started panicking. I don't know what to do. So I went to my mother and said, see, retreat is 5 days. I cannot stay here long like this. I cannot eat this food here. Either we go back home or we find some other food. But since my mother had been listening to the preaching and all since morning, somehow the Holy Spirit inspired her to say to me, you trust in Jesus. You have faith. You go eat, nothing will happen. She said that. And I was really shaken by what she said. But then I went away. And I really went to that hall, the retreat hall was there, the retreat was going on. And I made a sincere prayer there. I made a sincere prayer from the heart. I said, Lord Jesus, I don't know if you are there or not, whether you exist. All these things I don't know. But I am in a really difficult situation in my life. I have no option before me. Either I have to end my life or you have to do something. That's all. If you are there, do something, help me. Simple prayer, nothing great, no fancy words and all, simple prayer from the heart. Then I went and I ate food. But that evening nothing happened. That night I didn't have any problem after eating. I didn't get any scratching issues or anything like that. Then I thought this is not normal. Something is happening here. Gave me a little confidence. Next day again, I went and I had food again, non-veg. Nothing happened. Then I really understood something great is happening here, which I cannot understand. I realized this is not normal. God is truly present here. God is real. So I went. I took part in that retreat really properly. I listened to the preaching, opened my ears of the heart, listened to what he was saying, made a really good confession. I wrote down my sins on pages and pages long. So I went for a really good confession, made a really good confession. Then I took part in the retreat really well. There I made a decision there. I told Lord, I will have faith in you. Anyway, none of my medicines are helping me. So at this moment, I will stop all my medicines. At this moment, I will stop all my medicines. I am not going to continue any further. Then I left from that retreat and I came home. And I continued a life of prayer. And I ate from that day everything else. Everything which was given to me, I ate without any problem. And since that day, within about 2 to 3 weeks, all the wounds, everything vanished. It just became clean. As you can see, if you look at my hand and all, you can see I have no wounds, I have no problem. I eat all the food, no problem. This is why I said God still works miracles. Jesus truly is real, not something we simply read in the Bible, not some passage or parable that we read for fun, not a story. In my life, I can witness without any problem that Jesus is truly real. Jesus is God. Ever since that day, I have been longing to follow Jesus truly. Since that day, I realized God is real. Then I cannot live my own life. I have to change. I want to dedicate my life completely to God. How can I live the best life according to what God wants me to live? That is what finally has led me here. That is why I am wearing this white habit from the 13th century and standing here like a crazy person. But that is the reason. So, in a way, some people are right that I am mad to leave all those things behind and come here. But it's a madness I am willing to accept. It's a good kind of madness. Madness for Christ. Okay? So, this is what I also want to tell all of you all. That our God is truly real. He is a miracle worker. But sometimes our miracles may come very late. I had to suffer 8 years, right? So you could have asked, why did Jesus come that first day itself and heal me? I could have been free of all these problems. But I will tell you, through those 8 years of my life, it transformed me completely. It made me realize that all those things I was chasing after before, I told you, money, fame, all these things, it made me realize all this is useless. I had 1,000 friends, but nobody was there to help me, nobody could bear my pain when I was suffering on the bed. Useless, all these things.